Welcome back to the deep dive. All right, today we're tackling a really big question facing a lot of folks in pharma and life sciences. How do you actually bring AI into your CRM effectively? And maybe the biggest decision point, the real fork in the road, seems to be Salesforce versus Veeva.
It really does. It sounds like a simple choice, just pick the software. But the sources we looked at for this deep dive make a really strong point.
Which is?
That many companies are, well, jumping the gun. They get caught up comparing features, specs, all that.
Before asking the basic question.
Exactly, before asking, are we actually ready to use AI in the first place?
That's it. It's like, deciding between two fancy power drills before you even know if you're hanging a tiny picture frame or building a whole deck. You need to know what you're set up to do.
Precisely.
So our mission today is to unpack this practical checklist we found in the source material. It's designed to help you take an honest look at your own organization's AI readiness.
And we'll dig into why that assessment is so critical, especially in a regulated field like pharma.
Right. And crucially, how knowing your readiness level can actually guide you. Help you figure out if Salesforce or Veeva makes more sense for you right now, but also, keeping an eye on the future.
Think of this as a way to cut through the noise, get some clarity faster, and hopefully avoid some common mistakes.
Exactly. Get that clarity quickly.
Yeah.
Because AI, it's not just a buzzword anymore, is it?
No, not in life sciences. The sources are pretty clear. It's rapidly becoming the backbone of operations. It's the engine for automation, for personalization with HCPs.
Accelerating workflows across the board, commercial, medical affairs, everything.
Right. And the Salesforce versus Veeva choice, it's not just about the tech specs.
What is it reflecting then?
It really reflects your organization's AI maturity, the state of your data, frankly, your internal culture, how open people are to new tech.
And your practical ability to actually do something with AI to execute.
Exactly. And skipping that readiness check, the sources say that's pretty risky.
Why specifically?
Well, first off, speed to value. You invest in AI, you want to see results, right? Faster ROI.
Sure.
But AI isn't magic. You don't just flip a switch. Getting value quickly really depends on having your data sorted out, clear governance, teams ready to use the outputs.
If that groundwork isn't there, the value takes much longer to appear.
Much longer, much harder, which leads to the second point. Avoiding overbuild.
Meaning buying more than you can handle.
Pretty much. These platforms, they're powerful. They have advanced AI features, but that means a significant investment.
Okay.
If your organization isn't ready, data-wise, skills-wise, culturally, to actually use those features, you're paying for potential you can't tap into. It's easy to build, or rather, buy, way beyond your current capacity.
Makes sense. And the third risk. You mentioned it's critical in pharma.
Compliance risk. Yeah, this is huge. Paramount, really.
Yeah.
In pharma, an AI slip-up, say, bad content generation or misusing data.
That could have serious regulatory consequences.
Absolutely severe. So readiness assessment includes checking if you have the governance, the compliance frameworks ready for AI. It's fundamental risk mitigation.
So the big takeaway here isn't whether to do AI, but making sure the platform you pick fits where you are now.
And can realistically support where you want to go with AI. It's about a grounded, practical choice.
Aligned with your actual capability. Okay, so how do you figure that out, this checklist you mentioned?
Yes, the sources lay out this AI readiness checklist. It's basically a self-assessment tool covering 5 key areas. Think of them as critical success factors for AI in pharma CRM.
All right, let's walk through them. What's the first area?
Data quality and accessibility. Foundational stuff. AI models are only as good as the data they eat, right?
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. So the checklist asks things like, do you have one central place for your core HCP and account data? A single source of truth?
Okay.
Can you easily access things like field notes, CRM activity logs, data on how HCPs engage with your content?
And can you bring it all together? Structured data, unstructured notes, without duplicating everything or creating silos.
That unification is key for AI. It needs the whole picture. And the sources draw a comparison here.
Between Salesforce and Veeva.
Yeah. They note Salesforce Data Cloud is really designed to help pull together data from different places for AI and analytics. Veeva, while great at core CRM, often needs more external systems or effort to get that truly unified view for complex AI.
So how easily you can connect and use all your relevant data is a big readiness factor. Makes sense. What's area number 2?
Number 2 is the compliance and governance framework. We touched on it, but it deserves focus. AI must be compliant in life sciences. Full stop.
So the checklist asks,
do you have clear policies for how AI is used? Data privacy, APA, GDPR, all that. Algorithm transparency.
How confident are you that AI-generated content or even suggestions will pass MLR review?
Yeah.
Medical, legal, regulatory. That's the gatekeeper.
Absolutely. And can you track everything? Who accessed AI recommendations? Were they changed? You need that audit trail.
Because if you can't trust it's compliant or track its history, its use becomes very limited, especially for anything sensitive.
Right. And the sources mentioned Salesforce has tools like Shield, strong audit trails built in for this dynamic management. Veeva's compliance is seen as maybe more static, but, deeply understood in the industry.
But for AI, which changes fast, maybe that dynamic framework is increasingly important.
That seems to be the implication. Okay, area 3, organizational alignment and culture.
The people side, often overlooked.
Hugely underestimated. AI isn't just software, it changes how people work. So do your commercial teams, your medical teams, do they actually trust digital tools? Are they comfortable using them?
Is the organization ready to pilot things, to try AI use cases, learn, iterate?
And crucially, is there strong executive sponsorship, someone championing this from the top?
Because if the reps don't trust the AI or leadership isn't backing it,
It's likely dead in the water. The sources use a nice phrase. Teams need to see AI as a co-pilot.
an assistant, not a black box.
Exactly, helping them, augmenting their skills, not just spitting out orders. The culture needs to be ready for that partnership.
Got it. And that leads into the fourth area.
It does. Skills and team readiness. You don't need everyone to be a data scientist, but you need the right mix of skills.
Like what?
Do you have some internal expertise, data science, AI, advanced analytics? Can your IT and ops teams support the tools, maybe low-code builders that platforms offer?
And the field teams. Are they trained not just to click buttons, but to actually interpret AI recommendations and act on them effectively?
That's critical. The source calls it needing cross-functional fluency, people who bridge the tech and the business side.
Understand both worlds. Okay, one area left on the checklist.
The fifth one is use case clarity. AI needs a purpose, a job to do. Implementing AI just because AI is, well, not a strategy.
Right, so what does clarity look like?
Have you identified specific problems AI should solve? Things like triaging medical inquiries faster, summarizing call notes automatically, refining segmentation, optimizing territories.
Things you can actually measure.
Exactly. Have you defined success metrics? Time saved, better engagement, higher productivity. And are you starting smart with manageable, high-impact pilot projects?
I like that line from the sources. AI without a use case is just automation theater.
It's sharp, isn't it? Looks impressive, maybe. But if it's not solving a real problem or delivering measurable value, what's the point?
So the goal of this checklist isn't necessarily to get a perfect score across the board.
Not at all. It's about getting an honest snapshot of where you are now, across these 5 areas. Identifying gaps just tells you where you need to focus, maybe invest more, before or during your platform implementation.
And that honest picture is what helps you make the platform choice.
Precisely. This is where readiness directly connects to deciding between, say, Salesforce and Veeva.
Okay, so how does that mapping work according to the sources?
Well, they suggest that if your organization scores high on readiness, strong data, governance, culture, skills, clear use cases, then Salesforce is often better positioned.
Better positioned to do what?
To support and, importantly, to scale more ambitious enterprise-wide AI initiatives.
And why Salesforce specifically for those highly ready organizations? What advantages did the sources point to?
They highlight a few things. Native AI agents, like Agentforce, these let you build specific AI assistants right inside the platform for particular tasks.
Okay.
They mention zero-copy data integration. This is a big deal. It means accessing and analyzing data from different systems without having to physically copy and move it all into one big pot, which is usually complex and costly.
AI loves access to diverse data, so that sounds useful.
Very. Then there are the low-code builder tools flow, prompt builder, things like that. They empower more people, not just hardcore coders, to configure AI workflows and customize how AI interacts.
Makes it more accessible internally.
Right. And also multi-cloud sync, which helps unify data if you're using different Salesforce clouds, giving AI that complete view it needs.
So for teams ready to dive deep, Salesforce seems geared towards things like complex omnichannel journeys, really personalized HCP interactions driven by AI, advanced segmentation.
Sophisticated territory optimization, pulling from lots of data sources.
Yes. And the sources also note Salesforce supports starting small and scaling. Pilots first, then broader rollout.
Okay, that paints a picture for high readiness. But what about Veeva? The sources definitely say it still makes sense for many pharma orgs.
Oh, absolutely. Veeva remains a very strong choice, especially for organizations with, say, simpler or more traditional field engagement needs.
Or maybe those with lower AI maturity right now.
Exactly. Or if the top priority is really leveraging those robust, pre-built MLR content workflows within a familiar, well-defined compliance structure.
And Veeva's strength there is the out-of-the-box setup.
That's a big part of it, according to the sources. Those pre-built pharma templates reduce configuration effort significantly. It provides a framework that really fits that traditional pharma CRM experience people know well. So ideal if you want that core CRM function done exceptionally well, within known compliance boundaries, maybe without needing deep customization or complex AI integrations immediately.
Yes, it excels there, but there's a caveat mentioned.
Which is?
If your future roadmap includes really significant integrated AI across many data sources, or a heavily AI-driven digital field model,
Then Veeva might require more work.
it might require integrating external tools or potentially costly services to achieve that level of AI ambition compared to a platform more natively built for that kind of scaling.
So it comes back to future plans as well as current state.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it's not always strictly either.
Right. The FAQ in the source had an interesting point. It said you could potentially use specific Salesforce tools, like Data Cloud for analytics or Agentforce for certain AI tasks, alongside your main Veeva CRM.
A hybrid approach for specific needs.
Yeah, maybe for a specific segmentation project or analytics, without ripping out Veeva as the core CRM. So options exist.
That's useful to know. Okay, so wrapping this up, the core message from the sources seems crystal clear.
Which is?
Choosing the right CRM platform for your AI journey in pharma.
It's not really about comparing feature lists as isolation first.
No, it's fundamentally about understanding your organization's current AI readiness. Across all those areas, data, governance, culture, skills, use cases.
And then picking the platform that fits where you are now and can realistically take you where you want to go.
Exactly. Both Salesforce and Veeva are powerful, capable platforms. But the best choice for you, that really depends on your AI ambition and your actual state of preparation.
So doing that readiness assessment, looking honestly at your data, your compliance, your team skills, and having those clear, measurable use cases, that's step one, non-negotiable.
Only then can you make a truly informed decision about the best partner for your AI journey ahead, ensuring the tech choice actually empowers you to use AI effectively.
Right. And maybe just a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on as you think about your own organization's readiness.
We talk a lot about data and compliance, and they're critical. But maybe ask yourself, how ready are the people? Is the culture truly there for teams to trust AI, to integrate it, to see it as that co-pilot?
That human dimension.
Yeah, thinking about that organizational readiness, the cultural piece, might be just as vital as ticking off the technical boxes on any checklist.
That's a really important point to consider.
Indeed. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI readiness and platform choice in Pharma CRM.